Good morning, it's Frugal here. As always, I have my coffee because otherwise somebody might just get killed. So today, let's talk about a 99-year lease in property, better known as a leasehold. But before we start on that, let's just quickly go through what different types of property ownerships you get, because this is quite relevant. The first one that you get a full title, which means you own the whole property. It means you own literally like the land that it's on, the garden, everything that's basically there. You own it. Now, the government basically would say, we give you the right to own the land. Now, that's the first case. The second case that you get is you get what they call sectional title. Now, let's say you've got a block of flats and you sort of need to say, okay, in this block, I own a flat on the 9th floor. Now, I can't own the physical land. It's very difficult. So what they've created is something called sectional title, which is something that is from, it's a law that's quite a couple of years old, 30, 40 years old. And what happened is they said that you can own a section of the whole. So, for example, if there's 100 flats, then you own a percentage of that, depending on the size of the flat. So, for example, if you've got a smaller flat, you'll often pay a smaller levy because it's a smaller piece of the whole. Now, that's sectional title. You also get what they call fractional ownership, which means you own a fraction or a piece. So it's like a big cake, and what you do is you own one piece in that cake. Okay, so fractional ownership could be for a block of flats. It could be for it's oftentimes actually used in places such as game farms, where you own a fraction in the house. So, for example, there's a couple of properties. In the one property, you own a fraction of that, which gives you access to it for X times. So it's basically a lot of people owning the place together. Now, also what you get is you get what they call a leasehold. Now, when you rent a property, right, that you don't really own the land. You don't really own the property. Now, there's a couple of different types of leases that you get. The first one is called a short-term lease. A short-term lease is something like a period of, let's say, a year or 6 months or 5 years that you can rent that property, and you pay the person rent. Okay, so that is what the whole thing about the landlords and the tenants, and you're basically tenant on that property. But what would happen if you actually want to have it for a longer term, but you can't? Now, when it comes to a 99-year lease, the way that would work is that they would say, okay, we will rent you or lease you the property for 99 years. Okay? Now, there's a couple of ways you can do this legally. The first way you can do this legally would be to say, what we're going to do is we're going to give you you're going to do a once-off payment to rent the property for this term. And then for this 99-year lease, you will then get access and full rights to do whatever you want on that property for 99 years. Now, in this 99 years, and there could be clauses in the property, by the way, that says in the contract that says you need to better the property, you need to make it better than what it was. Now, after the 99 years, you would need to then return it back to its owner. Now, there's a couple of interesting cases in the world where this has happened. One of them is the Panama Canal that was handed back over to Panama from the US. Another one is Hong Kong. Hong Kong was handed back after 99 years back from the UK, British Hong Kong, back over to China, which is now a special administrative region. In today's terms, even there's quite a few cases as well, such as a port in Sri Lanka, which was sold to China for 99 years. Now, properties in many countries are sold under the 99-year lease. Now, the idea of 99 years specifically is around saying for this property, for your lifetime, you can have use of it. But if you look at things like trusts and companies that own the land, they can own it for a couple of 100 years, right? Now, in some cases in the UK, there's actually been documented cases of land that has been leased for more than 1,000 years. The 99 years is symbolic of forever. But in many cases, and due to the law changes, what they've done is they've said, okay, it's just 99 years. So after 99 years, you have to give it back to its original owner. Now, in some cases, and that has happened quite a couple of places as well, especially great innovation on the side of some of the larger developments in South Africa, such as Waterfall. What they've done is the family said, because of religious reasons, we can't sell you the land, but we can give it to you in a 99-year leasehold. So for 99 years, you get to better it, you get to make it awesome, and you can use it. And what they said is, if you do sell it, the next person will also get a 99-year lease. Now, and the only thing that they do charge then is a 3.5% fee, which is really quite cool, because for 3.5%, you then get full access to it for 99 years. And after the 99 years, your company can renew the lease for a 3.5% of the current market value, which I think is quite interesting. It's quite valuable. So it gives the security back to the company or the people that owns the property for the long term, but it also gives a bit of income for the people that own the land originally. So 99-year leases, it doesn't mean that you own the property, but for some cases, you can say, listen, I'm going to pay that money off for the 99 years, month by month. It could be that you're saying for that 99 years, I'm going to pay it off once off in the beginning. But the main thing you need to remember is that you're renting the property, you're leasing, it's a leasehold. You don't own the property physically. Now, there has been certain cases in the law and in Parliament in South Africa where they've said that they would want to actually take this property or the law with regards to full title and change it to a leasehold so that it expires after 99 years and you have to give it back to the government, to somebody else. Now, this is still very much in conversation, and it has been in conversation for many, many, many years. We also do need to remember that the US government and many other governments have said that if there would be property, people just taking your property, land grabs, there will be repercussions for the government if they do not act on it. So it is very important to note that, even though we've got these things like 99-year leases that do expire depending on the contract, or land grabs and all of these things, that I believe personally that it is still stable, and that we shouldn't just say property is bad because there's a couple of problems. That would be like to say that there's a couple of stocks that's gone down the drain, so the stock market is not stable. So now that you know a little bit more about 99-year leases, have a wonderful day. Happy investing.